How to factor trinomials for beginners. Step 1, get your equation, well, your polynomial. You have v2 minus 3v minus 70. Now first, we need to figure out what times what will equal 70, but also will add together to equal -3. Now, this number was 7 minus 10. 7 times 10 equals 70. 7 minus 10 equals -3. Now you're going to get rid of the middle term. Put v2 plus 7v minus 10v minus 70. So we're just adding in these two numbers, the 7v and -10v. And it has to have the variable on there because this middle term had the variable. Once you've done this, we need to figure out the greatest common factor, and we have to split it up into two brackets. So first, we're going to start by turning this into a bracket and turning this into a bracket. So here's what it should look like. Now ignore these right now, but this is what you should get. Then you want to factor out the v. So take v out of these. Well, not this one yet, but this one. And that should leave you with v times v. Well, v, then parentheses v plus 7. Because v times v equals v to the power of 2. And then v times 7 equals 7v. So you're just basically breaking it into a kind of a smaller form, more simpler form. Just the greatest common factor. And for this side, we can take out 10. But we can't take out v because 70 doesn't have v. So it'll just leave us with -10. And you want to make it negative because you don't want whatever's inside the parentheses to start with a negative. So -10 times v equals -10v plus 7 equals 70. -70. And then once you've done that, since we have two terms that are just alike, just take our two numbers that we're multiplying by, the v and the -10 in between each parentheses, and put them inside one of the parentheses. I don't think it really matters. And then I get you v plus 7 times v -10. And you can always check your answer by multiplying the two. So v times v equal v to the power of 2, and then v times -10 would equal v -10, and then 7 times v equals 7v, and then 70. So you just add that together, check your answer. Okay. Oh, and one last step. What was it? Nothing. Just keep going. Number 2. So we already went through everything up here. You go through this one a bit quicker. So overall, so 4 times 1 equals 4, but 4 plus 1 also equals 5. So our numbers are going to be p squared plus 4p plus p plus 4. Now we put this into a little bit more simpler format. We get p, take out p from this, and then take out 1 from this, equals p times p plus 4, and then 1 times p plus 4. Once again, we have two of the exact same groups of numbers. So we're just gonna take the p and the 1 and then put it into one of the brackets. And this gives us our answer. Now let's try some others. This one is a bit more bigger of a problem. Now, you can do it like this, but be honest, who wants to do all that? So we're going to factor out 5 out of the polynomial, and that will give us 5 times so much. It's basically just making it more simpler. And then you continue doing this equation right here, just as you would the ones up here, with the 5 on the outside. So we can take out 5 out of these group of numbers, and we can take out -4 out of these groups of numbers. And this leaves us with the equation, of course, with 5 on the very outside to make sure that we know this has just been turned into its greatest common factor. And then in the very end, this is our answer. Make sure you keep your 5 right there, because this will not equal just the answer. We took 5 out from the start. Okay. On to a little bit more complex, but still overall the same fundamentals. Find the greatest common factor of each set. You gotta remember that. So we can start out by factoring out 6, just like how we did at the last one, to make it more simpler. So we have 6 on the outside, 6 divided by all these numbers. If you can find a number that can go into every single one of these, perfect. Just do that, make it more simpler. It gives us 6 times 7k2 plus 69k plus 54. All right. Now, we have our two numbers in the middle, 63 and 6. 63 times 6 equals the 63 plus 6 equals 69. So you don't always, I don't think, have to make it multiply to each other to add up to this number. So 7k times k. So we have to factor out 7k from this group and 6 from this group. And that leaves us with this. This is the answer. And of course, take the 7 and the 6, put it into one of these terms. It doesn't matter because they're both the exact same. I put it into this one, and that gives us 6 times k plus 9 times 7k plus 6. It's very simple. Easier ones. So, probably should have just started out with this, but let's do it. What gets you these numbers? So, k2 minus 4. This one is just basically just do it in your head. What times what equals k, and what times what equals negative 4. That's how you can do it. Who did that? Put that back. So k times k equals k2, and k times 2 equals k2. And it'll eventually just, if you do it, it'll just cancel each other out. So, second one, don't worry about this. 4a to the power of 2 minus 9. So, once again, 2a times 2a equals 4a squared. Negative 3 times positive 3 equals negative 9. Do the whole problem. You'll get other numbers, but those will be canceled out by each other. Last two. A squared minus 6a plus 9. Now, negative 6. So, negative 6, that can be negative 3. But negative 3 also equal positive 9. Perfect. Split this off into two groups. A times a equals a squared. And then negative 3 times a equals negative 3a. So that's all we're doing. We're just taking a out of this group and then take negative 3 out of this group. That gives you a negative 3 times a negative 3. And I did take each of these, each of the GCFs and put them in one of the problems, but as you can see, the a negative 3 is the exact same as all three of these, so that gives us just a negative 3 and a negative 3. Well, that's just a negative 3 squared. You see? You can't do a negative 3 and a positive 3 and put squared, because squared just means it's the exact same number. It has to be the exact same. Off to number 4. 20b squared plus 60b squared plus 45. Now, you can take 5 out of each of these numbers. You can't take b out of each one because 45 doesn't have a b. So 5 times 4 equals 20, and 5 times 12 equals 60, 5 times 9 equals 45. Once again, just take the middle term and the last term, configure them where you find a number that can multiply by each other to create, well, at least add by each other to create the middle term. That's something I still don't understand, but 6 times 6 doesn't equal 9, but I don't care. 5, keep that on the outside, because that's what we took out from the very start. 5 times that, and then 2b, we can take 2b out of these two numbers. So that gives us 2b times 2b plus 3. We just multiply this, it'll add up to that. And then we can take 3 out of these two terms, and then, well, bam, that's what you get. Lastly, once you take the two numbers you multiplied, you took out of the equation, you put them into one of these, and just like the one we did earlier, this creates two of the exact same numbers. So this just leaves us with 5 times 2b plus 3 squared. You see? And that's what it's about, what it's like. Just glance back over it. Just remember, put it into its two sets, take out the greatest common factor,